I'd like to welcome everybody on this video conference in the name of Menschen für Menschen. My special thanks goes at the start to Melanie and Albert and the team that has made this working. Until now, it's been great effort already, so hopefully it's going to work through the whole hour that we're going to talk to each other. We've started this program, this AndeNET format, and for those who are not completely fluent in Amharic, AndeNET means get together and socialize. Some 2 years ago, we started it physically in Munich, and now want to open it for getting the community together through this technology that we have of those people who are dedicated and driven and enthusiastic to the partnership of Ethiopia and Europe. Menschen für Menschen has always focused on enabling those human beings who are in need to be able to fulfill their need on their own, for those particularly who cannot on their own, to support them to make it possible. And we've always focused on delivering our promises, and we will also in the future, and we've had impact over the last decades, and we'll continue to do so. But as we know, despite the progress that we had in decades, the challenges are still huge. They're still huge and changing. And on top of basic needs like clean water, education, and health, and balanced nutrition, and delivering small incomes, on top of it, we see the challenges of massive unemployment in the youth in particular, of democratization of a new society, of climate change, of use of new media. All of that are challenges for a new society in itself. On top of it comes COVID-19, low cost, for those who are not completely English fluent, this is Heuschrecken, and ethnic conflicts. So we all know that these challenges, nobody on its own, no single person, no single organization can solve it so its own. So it's time to partner. We as Menschen for Menschen are really up for partnerships. We've increased our partnerships with GIZ and BMZ over the last years. We've signed contracts with Vivacon Aqua. We're trying to solve the water problem. We help them implement it. And just recently we've signed a contract with Ecosia. For those who don't know them, they're a search engine who spent their money on planting trees across the world. So it is time to network and get together with different competencies to build clever and efficient partnerships and programs that solve those issues. And I would call them need-based programs, need-based models, as opposed to simple business models, because it should always center around the needs of the human beings. Be it partners between civil society, like NGOs, or economical enterprises, as well as political institutions, of course. So for that reason, we've started this discussion in the form of an AndeNET, and we invited a number of guests today to speak from various angles of the society, of their views of the challenges and how we can solve them together. And everybody here on the call, all the participants, are cordially invited to participate through using the small hand to raise your hand, or use the chat. And of course, you can use the chat in German as well, so don't hesitate to speak up whenever you need to and feel more comfortable in German. We're happy to do so. I will continue to speak in English as a matter of courtesy to our Ethiopian colleagues so they can participate. We don't want to cut off any discussions, but we will keep it concise to 1 hour. So if I step in sometimes to cut people's voices short, it's not a matter of unpoliteness, but more of justice to other speakers. So just in advance to a warning. But we'll not cut off any discussions. We will let that room open after the 6 o'clock bell, or 7 o'clock in Ethiopia. And it's not a bell, but we're gonna close this call at 6 o'clock. So you can continue to chat and you continue to raise questions, and we will answer them all as we can. Just before we end, we will have something special for you. We have a world premiere video, 4 minutes. The latest video has not been released. It's going to be released today to you first about the impact of our work in one particular area in Ethiopia. So please stay on board until 6 o'clock if you can afford, and really have a lively discussion to get really everybody's views and everybody's competency together. It's a start. This is a trial in this new format, and it's not the end. And we don't expect to find solutions today, but we expect to find ideas and just start the discussion how we can solve things. So to start, I would like to hand over to our dear colleagues in Ethiopia. And I'm very, very glad that we made it happen, which was kind of a wonder after we had 10 days or 14 days of complete shutdown on the internet, that we now are able to speak again and talk to each other. And we're very honored to have 3 people from our management, a wider management team in Ethiopia on our call, which is our country representative, Behanu Negusi, who was always also the bearer of the Federal Cross of Merit since February of Germany. For those who are not familiar with the word, it's Bundesverdienstkreuz since February this year. We have Dr. Asnake Worku, who's also on our management team. He's a medical doctor and is going to speak about the COVID-19 situation. And we've got Baritu Seyum, who's our deputy program implementation manager, who can speak about how we manage the situation of project areas in these challenging times. So, Behanu, would you like to start to tell us where we are and what
Sebastian?
Yes.
As it seems, Behanu is not with us already. There might be some connection issues, so I suggest we start with Dr. Asnake and wait a few minutes for Mr. Behanu.
Sure, sure. So, Dr. Asnake, you've accompanied us already in the last weeks and months in giving us a concise update on where we stand with COVID-19 in Ethiopia. Would you like to give us a latest stand and what challenges you currently face in Ethiopia with respect to COVID-19 in particular? Dr. Asnake, can you hear me? Dr. Asnake? Oh, it seems to be shut off. Timing is everything. Dr. Asnake, are you with us? You need to unmute, please. Hello.
Okay. Brano has some connection problems, so if you allow me to start, I can go ahead.
Yes, please. You're welcome.
My topic is on the COVID-19 pandemic. Just to update you the situation currently. We have the first case report on March 11th, and since then the rate of increment of COVID-19 in Ethiopia is really alarmingly increasing, and with a very severe condition involving all regional governments. And so far we have reached 15,200 cases reported, with a total of 239 days, and a very high mortality rate among the severely ill patients. So this high mortality is really one indicator of the limitation we have in providing adequate medical treatment for those who are severely sick, and significant number of mortality cases were diagnosed post-mortem, and meaning that the cases were not identified and properly cared for. And you can imagine the rate of transmission among family members, neighbors, and close relatives, because these patients were not diagnosed before their days. When we see the rate of increment, just as an example, it took, for example, the first 1,000 cases were reported in more than 2 months' time. But in the past week only, more than 4,000 new cases have been diagnosed in Ethiopia, with about 56 days in 1 week time. So the rate of increment and also the rate of days is really very high, and we expect the COVID transmission will be increasing even in the coming months, and before it levels off, a lot of people will be affected by the disease. In this pandemic nowadays, about 70% of the cases are in Addis, diagnosed in Addis. But since we are also increasing the testing capacity, which is going to be doubled in the coming week, we expect a surge of cases to be reported all over the country. So currently, the capacity is going to be enhanced from the current 7,000 to 8,000 tests per day to about 16,000 testing per day. So this will increase definitely the number of cases to be diagnosed in the coming weeks. Our major issue here is also our lifestyle. We are a very traditional society. We have an open market system. We have many social gatherings in religious ceremonies, in marriage, and also other social gatherings where people can easily transmit the disease from one person to the other, and also from one area to the another area. So we are really working very hard to raise the consciousness or the awareness of the people in terms of protecting themselves, their family, and the community at large. But this awareness is really not taken care of properly, and there is a big reluctance and negligence on behalf of the community in preventing the disease. So massive awareness program and behavioral change communication has to be in place in order to control the spread of the virus. And we also are really facing socio-economic impacts of the disease, because it affects both the macro level and the micro level economic endeavors, and also the rate of people who are poor and marginalized and exposed to the disease is very high. So we need to focus targeting support for such marginalized people. And also, yeah, sorry.
No, can I just jump in maybe as a question? One question already came through the chat, and maybe one question for myself. What are the biggest or the most effective ways of supporting Ethiopia with respect to COVID-19 now? And the second question would be, given the social economic impact you see and you've just mentioned, are we aware of any moratorium from cash-giving entities like China and so on, that we don't have to, Ethiopia doesn't have to pay back loans? Is there been relief given to Ethiopia or other giving parties?
Yeah, support in terms of medical and non-medical items is very critical, because the health facilities now are overburdened by the cases, and with the limited capacity we do have shortage of supplies and also medical equipment. For example, for those critically ill, we need to have a well-organized ICU and also a well-organized supply chain system whereby we can provide the necessary materials for those who are needy. Mm-hmm. In terms of these socio-economic challenges we have, there is support from different financial institutions and governments to the people of Ethiopia and the government, and we expect the global community to consider the economic and social impacts of COVID, because as a developing country, our economy is very fragile, and the efforts and some gains which were achieved by the government are really under threat. So I think the international community, bilateral and multilateral organizations will support the country, and that's critically needed.
Thank you very much, Dr. Snake, for that concise overview. I'd like to now, we've seen Bahanu joining. And hello, Bahanu, good to see you.
Sebastian?
Yeah?
There was a question in the audience. We would bring the guest in for the question for a moment, okay?
Yeah, okay. Maybe you can also, yeah. Hello? I think Langanka asked a question. Is that correct? Ah, hello, I can see you on the screen now. You need to unmute, I think. Hello?
Hello, Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, hello.
Thank you very much. I'm so sorry for having trouble with joining in through the video tool, but now it seems to be delivered.
So would you like to repeat your question?
Yes, of course. The question would be a business concern. As previously discussed with Sebastian prior to joining this meeting, I would have a question which is more business related. To what degree is COVID-19 affecting economy and state subsidies to foreign investments if interest arise to invest into Ethiopia? Did Ethiopia receive relevant reliefs from Chinese-bound state loans, like a moratorium for payback of immense Chinese state loans, which are a burden to Ethiopian economy? We are well aware of that. If so, is it a relief to Ethiopian economy? And second, aligned with this question is, does COVID-19 have an effect on Ethiopia support in forms of direct cash incentives for joint ventures and other business cooperations if foreign investors want to come to your country?
Yeah, it's a very specific question. Thank you for this. Maybe you can have a quick response from Bahanu if we know anything about it. Otherwise, if we don't know, we will take it offline if you don't mind and respond to it later. Is that okay?
Thank you very much.
Bahanu, you are on mute. You need to be unmuted, I think.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are unaware of some relief from the Chinese or from others so far. We are hoping that this will come. Otherwise, at this pandemic time, investment is very difficult, and also investors may not come. But of course, this pandemic will not stay forever. When things are improving, the government is open and they are facilitating the investment than ever before. Concerning loan, be it from Chinese, from the others, at this juncture, I cannot say anything.
Okay. If you're okay, we'll leave it like this because we will take it offline and find out something. Thank you very much for your participation. Bahanu, since you're online now, why don't you give your perspective on the current challenges we have, in particular, I mean, low cost and so on?
Yeah, thank you very much. First of all, I'm deeply sorry that I'm disconnected and you know the network and everything in our country. The locust invasion is another challenge also, not only for Africa, for Ethiopia, also in the eastern, in the Horn of Africa and in Ethiopia. These countries are experiencing really an outbreak of really than expected before. And now at this time, the second generation swarm is seen, and they are grazing pasture lands. They continue to eat crops, and it is worrisome. So even now in northern part of Ethiopia and in eastern part recently, a month ago, there were observed even in our project area in Warailu, Lagahida. Of course, the government and the community, the government this time it is few swarms and they are not involved with big spray, but the community and all concerned are really combating the pandemic with a traditional way, making noise, chasing, organizing children, crying, and so this, of course, this will be a big threat to food security, and it will have an adverse effect on the livelihood of the rural people.
Mm-hmm. What about the situation on the unrest? Is that being settled now, or do you see more?
The situation is getting calm, as you know, following the assassination of the famous singer Hachalu Hundessa. Uprising is ignited in the Addis Ababa and the entire Oromia region. As a consequence, properties are damaged and looted, people are killed, infrastructures belonging to government and investors and even residential houses are set to fire, vehicles are burned down, and transport was discontinued. Of course, at this time, the government is arresting the culprits and relatively peace is restored.
But this doesn't sound like a sustainable peace in the moment. Is this kept by
Well,
securities?
Still they are arresting. This is not only a sudden or an abrupt uprising. It looks as if it is well organized and everything ahead of time and everything started, and it is not just a mob, but it looks as if it is organized, and still people are being arrested from different parts of the country. And I think the government at this time is determined than ever before to restore peace and protect its citizens.
Thank you very much. Now, of course, for us, very interesting, and I'm not sure whether Barito is still on the call. She doesn't seem to be on my gallery here. But if Barito is on the call, I'd like her to join to tell us a little bit what the impact is in our project areas, because this is obviously our utmost concern. You know that we have 600 employees in the areas. We serve some 1.2 million beneficiaries in those project areas, and it would be interesting to see whether we see any impact of the current situation in the project areas. Barito, are you still there?
Barito is not here at the moment.
Okay, so maybe
I think Dr. Asnake might help her at the moment.
okay, here we go.
There she is.
Barito, very nice to see you under the disguise of Dr. Asnake. You are on mute. You need to be unmuted, please. Yes, here we go.
Sorry, now I have to join you from Dr. Asnake's desk because my computer, I couldn't see the video, but the audio was right. So thank you very much. I'm happy to see you all around, and let me take this opportunity to at least say a few words about the effect this new phenomenon of COVID-19 created on our project area also, because this is, as you can imagine, it's an international health crisis, but not only health crisis, but also economic crisis and also social disturbance in any angle as you could imagine. So MFM is no different. When we see our project areas, especially when it comes to our practical activities at the field level, our activities have been affected because this disease doesn't allow gathering and coming together face to face. So our activities like trainings, workshops, review meetings, and field level activities have been affected, both because of state of emergency declared by the government and also the nature of the disease. So we were affected because of the nature of the disease and also the current condition of Ethiopia, which is under state of emergency for a sake of to limit gathering of people. So that is how it has affected our project. And to come to this kind of platform, like using technology and gathering online or virtual like this, it is nearly impossible in the context of Ethiopia because of the poor infrastructure. We do not have access to technology of this kind at a rural level. So trainings, workshops will continue to be disconnected in the coming months until things improve when it comes to the disease.
But some project activities can be continued as far as I know. So
yeah, other activities which doesn't require gathering, we are continuing because we have to continue. Life has to continue, and government is also encouraging farmers and other sectors to continue to engage in the production sector because it is very important. Otherwise, life will be very difficult. Food security will be jeopardized totally. That's why farmers and other sectors has to fully engage, and this is also the direction from government, which we are also taking as an opportunity to work at a grassroots level by avoiding big gatherings and trainings and big workshops. So we are limiting, but we are continuing in that direction.
For example, school building can continue, construction can continue, water places can be continued.
Definitely, okay. Yes, Dr. Sebastian. This is good opportunity, and we are continuing that one. But gatherings, trainings, workshops, which are also very crucial for our activities and pillar for our activity, is not going on. But other activities which doesn't require gathering is going on.
Okay.
And
Thank
when
you
it
very
comes,
much. Sorry.
Yeah, maybe to add few points.
Yes.
Especially agriculture, as agriculture is a pillar of the country, like Ethiopia, we are taking this opportunity to avoid long-term food crisis, to engage our farmers, to continue to do what they have been doing, even in a more vigorous way, so that we will not face food shortage in the coming months and in the next harvest. So we are engaging our farmers, advising them to continue to do what they have been doing, regardless of the challenge we are facing as a country. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you.
In the interest of time, not in the interest of interest, because I would have many more questions for the audience, but in the question of time. I don't see any urgent questions coming in the chat in the moment, so I'd like to hand over to Dr. Asfaros Nasarate, who really very cordially invite on the call, and we know you very much from, you're an economical advisor, but also you have written so many insightful books in Germany about Ethiopia, about Africa. So welcome on the call again, and please give us your insights in terms of partnership. We recently started a partnership on the COVID-19 in particular, so but you have a much wider view of the situation, so welcome.
Thank you very much indeed, Dr. Brandes. First of all, welcome my dear Ethiopian brothers and sisters in Addis Ababa. Welcome my compatriots in Germany and dear friends of MFM. It is a great pleasure for me to be here with you today, and thank you for the great help that you have given us with our COVID project. And I'm delighted that we had a cooperation with MFM. And as far as I have just heard from Mrs. Köhler today, we have been able to raise about 7,000 euros. It isn't much, and I'm still writing letters all over the place, and I sincerely hope that this will change within as the months go on. But I must confess that many German firms are really weakened by the COVID, what has happened here in Germany. And this is, of course, the question which we have to ask ourselves as far as Ethiopia is concerned. What are the economic retaliations of COVID-19 going to be in the future? The World Bank tells us at this moment that the economies of Africa are going to decrease by at least 4% because of COVID. And I'm asking myself, how are we going to be able to give work to the multitude of young people, especially if firms are going to shut down, as they have done in Germany, if tourism is going to be weakened. And therefore, I think we must give special attention to Ethio-German economic relations in the future. A hell of a lot, to be honest with you, is being done as far as the government of the Federal Republic of Germany is concerned, and to incite middle-sized and smaller-sized German entrepreneurs to come to Ethiopia to invest. But I'm afraid we haven't been as lucky as we had hoped for. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to give you a number which will amaze you. In the Federal Republic of Germany, we have something like 440,000 firms that are working internationally, out of which only 849 are represented in Africa. And from these 849 firms, I would say 2/3 are represented in the southern parts of Africa. In other words, one cannot talk about major investments from German firms into Africa and Ethiopia in particular. So we must do our best in trying to further the cause of investments in the future. I sincerely hope that what has the greatest challenges that have been now accepted by both the Germans and the Ethiopian governments are going to bear fruit. And I sincerely hope also that MFM, with its wide connections both in Ethiopia and in Germany, will find ways of finding partnerships with German firms, trying to incite them to come to our country, because I see the future of Ethiopia and Africa lies in giving work to a whole new generation. We must never forget Ethiopia has now a population of about 110 million, out of which 85% are younger than 25 years. These should be our main aspect of what we want to achieve. We must see to it that they have work, and if people have work, they can stay in their own country. They will not become refugees. I'm ready to do my part, and let us continue our efforts to restore human dignity and above all Ethiopian unity for the sake of the future generations in Ethiopia. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Very wise words, Dr. Stasarate. And as we always have to, a big leap means also a big opportunity. So as you said, there are another hundreds of thousands of companies that we encourage to come to Africa since they have not been there yet. So this is a great transition basically to the next speakers. And unless there's a question just now, and as you said, Dr. Azar, we will also talk to each other in terms of finding further family business in particular, which we believe would be great to join us in collaboration, because they have a sense of sustainable thinking and they have a long tradition, and once they engage, they have the same kind of commitment that we have as Menschen für Menschen, who are in a kind also a family business, given that we have a high degree of integration and quality management. Now, we want to talk about opportunities to raise the job creation opportunities. And we had planned Sarah Nuro on this call with her social business. She had to dive off some job very short term, but we have a video from her, which she took today. But before we go to the video, maybe we could try the video now, if it's possible to get it in, because she deliberately recorded it only for us to give a short update on where she stands with her Nuro Woman and Nuro Coffee, which is an attempt to exactly create those businesses that will create jobs and microfinance in Ethiopia. Aber can you try?
Hallo und liebe Grüße von mir aus Berlin an alle, wo auch immer ihr seid. Ich glaube, ich switche jetzt auf Englisch. Hello to everyone from far and near. Yeah, I want to just say and talk about how my last few months has been with Nuro Coffee and Nuro Woman, and also personal. As for everyone, it was of course a struggling few months with not knowing where everything is going. For us, luckily, with Nuro Coffee, we quite because we distribute our coffee over online primarily. We had luckily more orders than usually, because people couldn't go out or were scared to shop normal stores, so they preferred to buy stuff online. So and all the people couldn't go to the offices, and they missed their coffee or their coffee to go, what's not good. So they ordered a lot of coffee. So we at Nuro Coffee, our office, our team, we had a lot to do. What was challenging, because we didn't see each other. We had to organize everything online. We have our fulfillment partners. They had to work in shifts because they couldn't, they couldn't be all in one shift. So this was struggling as well. But we had luck as I mentioned before, because we sell online, but also we just came back from our trip to Ethiopia beginning of March, and it was interesting because when we arrived in Addis to source new coffee, we realized that the people in the airport were already taking I don't know the English word, but they were seeing if we have fever or not, and there was already like protection going on the airport, where in Germany nothing happened really. And we had luck that we could fly back to Ethiopia, to Germany, and we sourced new coffee. But when we arrived back in Germany, they told us they couldn't bring the coffee to Germany. So we're waiting until now. We were there in March. Now we have almost August, and the coffee is still not here. So this is a little bit scary, but we have enough coffee in storage, so we can still sell coffee, but we would like to have, you know, the new order. And in terms of Nuru Women, where I'm really happy that MFM is our implementation partner, and we, as a small organization, we really benefit from the knowledge and the almost 40 years of work in Ethiopia from MFM. So I'm really proud to partner with them, and they support us with the implementation of giving women in the rural area, in Borena area, microloans. And of course, we always check in, how is the situation over there, but yeah, MFM, they give us already constant new updates, so we continue and focusing and selling coffee. Then the more coffee we sell, the more women we can support in Ethiopia. So we don't stop, we still fight for equality, for that women can have access to, you know, own businesses. So yeah, we hope that a lot of people still drink coffee in the future, but also that we don't forget the women and the people in Ethiopia. So it's thank you to everyone at MFM who are still you know, out there in the fields, in the projects, and in the deep connection and in the conversation with the people over there. And yeah, we try to do the work here in Germany, and yeah, we keep doing it. So this is some insight, and from Nuru Coffee, Nuru Woman, and personally, yeah, it's challenging, but also new. For me, it was nice actually to stay in one place, not to travel, and to also focusing in things what really matters. And I think this is in every bad situation, there's also some outcomes that has some positivity and some positive impact. So yeah, I try, and I learned a lot during these 4 months now, and yeah, know where to focus where to take my priorities and where not. So yeah, but I hope now I'm talking too long, I'm sorry. But I wish you all a wonderful day, and to MFM, keep up the good work, and hello to everyone in Ethiopia and also in Germany, Munich, and where else everyone is listening. Okay, bye.
Thank you very much to Zara in absence, but I think it's a good example of somebody who's changed from being an ambassador of Menschen for Menschen, which she still is apparently, but now really is a partner in building her own business with our support. Now, in the interest of time, I'd like to hand over to Alexander Bessler. Alexander Bessler is created an organization. He's the German speaker, the speaker of the German Ethiopian Association in Vaterstetten, but he's also created an entity in Alem Katama, which is an area where Menschen for Menschen has done the basic work of delivering basic needs, and now he's putting on top an organization that's trying to build value-added businesses to create an economy or economies. And let us know where we stand, or you stand with this, and what challenge to face, and as an activity that creates those jobs. Over to you, Alexander.
Hello, good evening, to all of you. Before I begin to speak, I wanted to pass my slot for some minutes to Valerie, because she is connected with us from Croatia. And Valerie, as some or most of you know, runs Ecolodge in the Choke Mountain, which is in Amharisch region. And so she's related tourism and bringing tourists to a really remote area with a special kind of concept. And I wanted to know from her side, what was the effect of COVID-19 to her project, and especially because it's bringing the Ferengi to Choke Mountains. Please, Valerie.
Hello to everybody. Yeah, thank you, Basti, for giving me the time to talk. Yeah, we had some problems. It started like when it started beginning of March. We discussed a little bit with the farming community where we built the Ecolodge, and we decided to immediately close everything for tourists and volunteers, because we are really in a very remote area. And we have, as you said, we have responsibility for the farming community also, because we are the only one bringing tourists and Ferengis to the area. So we decided to just close immediately. And yeah, so that was it was not too bad, because the main tourist season was already over for this year. But of course, we are not really expecting to have a lot of tourists next year as well. So that's a problem, but the good thing is that we never really focused on tourism only. We built an eco village, so we always try to have focus on many different things. For example, also on honey production, and we are trying to support the farmers in many ways. So we are using this now as a kind of break to focus on all the other areas that we're working on, like infrastructure projects, solar projects, and irrigation projects. So that's what we are doing now. The farmers are constructing a kindergarten and primary school right now. So we're doing all these things. And the good thing also was that, as you said, it's a special concept, so that the tourists stay longer and in our place and are really connected with the farmers. So we asked all the tourists that we had until now for some funds, and we got a Corona emergency fund of like 6,000 to 7,000 euro that we handed over to the farmers cooperative for the coming month as an emergency budget. So yeah, that's mainly what's happening at the moment in our place. Thank you very much.
Excellent work. Thank you very much. How do you manage the relation between Croatia and Amhara? How do you link up?
We just always, with my family, we always came to Croatia for holidays. Okay. So summer is here and winter is in Ethiopia.
Okay. It's a good part. Good.
Oh, thank you, Valerie, for this special insight. I hope you will stay with us afterwards for the connecting round. Now, as Dr. Brandis already mentioned, there are some positions I'm in, so only some minutes left, and I want to tell something from every position, from every perspective. But at first, I want to say thank you as the founder of AndeNET. I started that in 2017 as Zusammenkommen, all together, come together of all people in Munich related to Ethiopia, and really we did this very nice in party style and in a bar. Now we are in a virtual style, but this is how to preserve the format. I hope to see you next time in the garden of MFM like we did the last years, and maybe we have also other reunions. So thank you to Dr. Brandis and especially to Melanie Köhler and the team of Menschen für Menschen for making that happen and organizing that for a month now, and it really takes time. I changed the head from the founder of AndeNET to the press officer of Deutsch-Äthiopischer Verein, which is based in Kassel, not in Vaterstetten. So the press officer, no problem. And as such, or in this position, surely I can do a complex analysis for 1 hour about the current situation in Ethiopia, but I won't do that. Who is interested in this deeper insight? I can recommend our Facebook page, our LinkedIn, newly founded LinkedIn Facebook page, also our website, where you can order our newsletter. Recent newsletter, we had a big inside interview with Dr. Azarate about the Ethiopian history and the reasons of the current unrest and the problems, especially in Oromia. Whoever is interested in that, go to our website or write to the chat or to Melanie Köhler, and she will connect us, so you get monthly updates about Ethiopia, also in economic insights, and a short answer to Ulrich Langanke, who just left the webinar. As far as I know, there are no memorandums of debt of Chinese, and also sure there will be effects on the cash flow, but only this in very short time. So coming to the base of my commitment to Ethiopia, it has something to do with Menschen für Menschen and with Karl-Heinz Böhm, who was a citizen of Vaterstetten 30 years ago and traveled to Merhabete, where Al-Katema is, around 25 years ago. So the partnership between Vaterstetten and Alim Katema in Amharisch region was found and celebrated the 25th anniversary last year. I came to Ethiopia in 2008 for the first time, and I felt totally in love. So I was member of the board of the partnership for more than 10 years, and now serve as a consultant of the board, and especially I'm carrying out the projects in Alim Katema, which was a project area of Menschen für Menschen. And one more time, thank you to Menschen für Menschen, because if they haven't been there and if they had laid the fundament, we wouldn't be there, and using their guest houses and using everything what they built up there, and continue the good work they did there. Also, Sebastian already mentioned. Yeah.
A few words of what exactly you are doing right now there, and just
sure. I'm coming. Yeah, coming to that. Also, we created a new association which is specialized on fostering entrepreneurship of young people. This is called Seed, and especially there we at one of our first big projects we brought together shamane, means weaver, and lipsefi, tailors, to produce new new kind of things. Normally all of the Ethiopians know that in rural areas they do not work together. In Alim Katema now they do, and during Corona, this creativity workshop for textiles was one of the parts we as partnership association did. We had, I think, 5 or 6 pillars where we tried to help, and the title was especially that that the support is done as sustainable as possible, and that the money should stay in, the money we give should stay in Alam Katama or in Ethiopia as possible as, yeah. And this is what we did. We did medical support, so medical equipment, protective equipment. This was mostly bought in Ethiopia, not in Alam Katama, sure, and brought to it. Some we gathered here, and they're on the way to Ethiopia. Then also we bought, this was the idea for the Ethiopians, we stored teff and we bought from the local market. We set up 13 hand washing stations and put it on the most frequented sites like market and churches in Alam Katama. Also they're done and produced by the local vocational school, and with also impact from a recent 3-year project of the together with the vocational school. And also we had a awareness campaign with flyers. And now I know just some minutes left.
Well, actually, no,
half a minute. Yeah.
Left. Can you, yeah, if you don't mind, I mean, I think it's, you've done such a variety of things, and just, yeah. I'm just looking at the watch, and as I said it's not unpoliteness. I think it's a great, it's 3 minutes to 6.
Oh, I'm coming to an end very soon, promised. So one of the parts working, the partnership and the new founded association together was producing face masks in Alam Katama. So here is the face mask from Alam Katama. We produced, this was stage 1, and this was given to needy people. So it's also sold, but it was given to needy people. And this is the second edition, where also weavers are working with. So this is woven and tailored in Alam Katama. This was our Corona measures. I just wanted to add something about because I always say when somebody's asking me what is
Alexander, if you don't mind, I think we've promised people to 6 o'clock. Yeah. So this is, I think, a perfect handover. You just mentioned that how Menschen for Menschen can build the foundation. Then people come and build businesses and small businesses. I know it's not many jobs, but there are jobs. And then finally, they can even do something for the local support for Corona by weaving masks themselves. What a great story! What a perfect roundup. So I want to just kind of switch towards the end, because we have 2 minutes to 6, and I know, as I said, it's been a full 1 hour. It's difficult to find solutions in this 1 hour. It's to create ideas. It's to create the network. And we will, as we said, continue the discussion if you want to online here on the chat, Peter, and hand over to Alexander after this, so that he can continue the chat and support the discussion, as well as obviously we can continue discussion in whatever format going forward. We are in discussion with many other partners and firms going forward to build something. So as I said, the challenges are there, but we see great opportunities in all challenges, as we did the last 40 years. I would like to close up by, first of all, thank you again for everybody for making this happen. And I'm very lucky and glad we had the connection stable to Ethiopia in particular, so that we can really use modern technology to increase the level of communication, even though it's going to be difficult in rural areas, I think, for some time to come, but at least to the main capitals. And as I said, I promised to you the world premiere of a video towards the end, wherever I'd like to ask Albert to basically mats up, as we used to say. It is a video that's not been shown before. You're the first one to see it. After this, it's going to be loaded up to YouTube, and you will, if you have technology-wise not the ability to actually see it, it'll be on YouTube. So thank you again to everybody. Thank you for the great discussion. We didn't have too much time for discussions. So excuse for that, but obviously we are there, we're live and kicking. We can ask you on the, answer the calls on the chat or contact us anytime to discuss going forward. And by the way, we'd like to have feedback on the format, format. So if you want to give us feedback, whether this was the valid 1 hour or it's something we should to change, please let us know so we can improve going forward. Thank you very much. Thank you to everybody. And Albert, maybe you can give it to the film.
Yeah, thank you, Sebastian. I just want to add that you can see the video on our website, mentionformention.de already. It's also on YouTube. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram if you don't already. And the video is about a family which we featured in our annual report, which went out just today. So it's fresh and it's new, and it's I'll just show you. Have a look.
Bukan ke setta kanya zuru anda ini, anu mau wana berada kan sana rada. Sagaltam. Ogahan gammachuun natti dhaga'ame akkan isa keessatti seeraan firii ta'ee baradhuun natti dhaga'ame. Torba raawwata afuritti liqeessine beekaa taati. Ogaa achi keessa teenyu fakkeenyaaf amma ogaa achi ijoolleen jeeqxee awwaara nutti ka'u mataa keenya nu jalaa balleessuu danda'a. Awwaara nutti ka'ee luka keenya nu jalaa kukkutuu danda'a. Kanarraan immoo kan ka'e utaaloo nutti gochuu danda'a. Ogaa awwaarichi ka'ee nutti nammee mataa boo nutti kukkutuu danda'a. Dhibee adda addaa nurraan ga'uu danda'a. Warqeen amana jijjiirraa jiru tamkeen isamaa seeraan hin baradhaa. Anduraa keessatti hoggaan ta'us hoggaan awwaara natti nammees naanii ofirraa jijjiirachuu yommuu waan ta'e jeeqa waan ta'eef amma garuu naamusaan hin ta'a. Awwaara nan tuqu bakkeen ta'us immoo seeraan qulqullina isaa eeggaddaaf jalaan balleessu. Amma eega kanisicha hojjennee damicha keessa argannee gurgurannee birrii argannee eega sanii uffata keenya seeraan uffannee horiillee akkasuma seeraan qabna seeraan bitannee qabeenyi qe'ee keessa seerumaan urree eegasuma mana kanas ijaarrannee seera soorumne eegasi jijjiiramaa ta'e. Rakkoo bishaanii keessa manni dhukkubsadha. Rakkoo achii saniinis awwaarri ka'ee garaa keenyatti awwaarichi nutti gannamee akkaataa dhibee garaa kaasaa kan nutti gochuu danda'a. Bishaan kunis qulqullina hin qabu. Waa'ee qulqullina naannoo waan adda addaa irraas dhibeen akkasiin jira. Qulqullina naannoo mana barumsaa sanirraa hin qabuu danda'a. Inni dura waraabbachaa turre asii fagoodha sa'aatii walakkaa hin deemna amma immoo badaa deemnu lafa xiqqoo deemna amma waan inni kun ijaarameef inni sun waan qulqullina hin qabneef amma ammaatti inni qulqullina hin qabu kun immoo waan qulqullina nu argateef asitti akkana deemnee dhiyeenya waraabbachaa turre. Hojii mana keessaa sarmee kiyya nan gargaara horiis nan eega. Bishaan mallee nan bu'a akkasumas mana keessaa hedduu mana hojjedha. Atu mana isaanii dhaqaa gaafa immoo isaan isin dhufu guyyaa tokko fa'aa ollee borsaa irratti wal agarra isaan isin dhufu anis man naqa mana isaanii. Akkanan gizeen barumsa dhaqu seeraan baradhee galu. Akkanan immoo hin jeeqne akkanan naamusa qabaadhu akkanan karaa irratti ijoollee namaatii walitti bu'uun na gorsaa jiru. Isaan waan hin baranneef ani waanan baradhee qabxii fidee iddoo hiriyaan koo ga'u isaan waan otoo hin baratin akkanumaan dukkana keessatti hafanii jiru waan ta'eef ani immoo waanan baradheefan isaan irraa adda.
So thank you, everybody. Let's close the call from here, and we will stay on. Alexander will stay and support you on the chat. Thank you very much. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.